Hello, so I'm going to talk about S3 events and how they work with jets, and I'll give you a demo in this video. Okay, so let me show you where that is. It's under docs here, under docs and under events, and then there's S3. So what are S3 events? So it's pretty cool. What you can do is you can actually set up S3 and Lambda in a way where when you upload objects to S3, it fires that Lambda function. Then you go basically reprocess whatever was uploaded to S3 by using information that was passed to that function from S3. So that's essentially what it is. And this is how Jets handles it. Here's the job, and then you just declare S3 event. You specify my bucket right here. All right, it could be any bucket name. Well, it has to be available, and buckets are globally scoped, so it's a bucket that you own. Okay, and then you go process or any method here. I just happen to name it process, but you can name the method whatever. And then that Lambda functions be associated with the S3 event. That's essentially how it works. Then what happens is you have a couple of helper methods here. You have like the event method, you have the S3 event, you have the S3 object, and there's a couple of helper methods kind of here to grab that information about the S3 object because of the way actually Jets approach this in terms of design. So what you could do is you could associate Lambda function with the S3 bucket, but Jets actually has a middle component here with the SNS topic. The reason Jets I chose to do this with Jets is because a Lambda function can only be configured with S3 bucket. There can only be one Lambda function configured with it. So by putting this SNS topic here, it allows us to fan out and call multiple Lambda functions. So it allows Jets code to kind of look like this. Here's do one thing, here's do another thing on the same S3 bucket because of this SNS topic in the middle here. Okay, and then you can also just specify another bucket and another Lambda function there. So there are some things here. I guess let's cover event payloads. So like I said, there is event, S3 event, and S3 object, and there's some docs here underneath here for event and S3 object. So let's show you what the docs are. So what happens is data doesn't come in when this Lambda function fires, and the data is actually that SNS topic, that guy's data right here. And within there's a message, and that message has a JSON string that contains basically the information about the S3 object. And what the S3 object helper method does is it unravels it, so it makes it easy to access. So there it is right there. There's key, size, and information about the S3 object. So there are also some considerations that are worth going over here. Now, S3 or Jets will configure that S3 bucket. It's called S3 bucket notification, and it's actually will reconfigure it. So if you have an existing one, you might want to know about this feature, S3 event configure bucket false. Okay, so you might want to disable that if you have kind of current bucket policies that or bucket configurations that you don't want wiped out, right? And most people don't, but just in case, there is this flag option right here. Okay, another important thing to consider is, let's say you're processing objects off of S3 bucket, and then you save to the same S3 bucket. That's going to fire another bucket notification, and then that's going to fire that Lambda function, and then that cycle is going to repeat forever as an infinite loop. Okay, so you have to be kind of careful with that. What I would suggest is to actually just save your objects to another bucket, so that eliminates that possibility. You can also use something, it configures something called filter rules on that bucket notification right here. And what filter rules is it allows you to specify like prefixes and suffixes on objects that you upload that you want to fire off a Lambda function. And so you can use filter rules to basically avoid the possibility of infinite loop, but I would suggest just for safety reasons, maybe just use a different bucket, because it might not be you, but it might be like another developer down the line, months down the line that doesn't kind of know about this, right? So anyway, I think that covers this documentation here. So we'll jump into this demo project, and then we'll actually just recreate it real quick. So here's the example project. The README kind of covers it. You just clone the project down, you configure an S3 bucket environmental variable, and then you're able to kind of deploy. So let me show you the code now. Apps job, S3 job. And then here, we're just gonna grab this code, and we're just kind of go with it. So let's create a new Jets project, Jets new demo mode job. So I'm using the job mode, and what Jets new does is it generates a new starter Jets app for you, and I'm using job mode because that generates a really light project, and that's all we really need for this kind of demo. So new file, s3 job.rb, okay, and I pasted the code in there. And then, like I said, we need to configure that S3 bucket. Reload there, okay, S3 bucket, and I already have the file count prepared, so I'm just gonna drag that in, overwrite, and then move some windows around here. cd demo jets deploy. So I'm just gonna kick off that deploy and then actually go through this code now. Okay. So there's the S3 bucket. Just have the S. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so there's the S3 bucket, and this remember buckets in S3 are globally scoped in the world. So if this bucket's name is not available, you have to kind of think of a new one or just add like a random digit at the end. You have to own the bucket. I own this bucket right here, so I just go S3 list to see what's in the bucket currently. So there's a a.text file in the bucket right there, and I just had a test file from earlier. So we're gonna, after this is deployed, we're gonna upload a new project, and then we're gonna be able to see what it does. And it doesn't really do much. It's just doing this for demonstration purposes. It logs out the event, and it logs out kind of the S3 event and the S3 object here. And it does it on 2 functions on the same bucket just to demonstrate that feature. So this deploy is gonna take a little time. So I'm going to pause the video and come back so you guys don't have to wait. Okay, so the deploy has completed. So now we could do some tests. All right, let's actually just check out the functions real quick on the Lambda. And the important functions is process and resize. This function is actually the function that configures the bucket. But the important ones are process and resize. So let's go take a look at our code real quick. We'll go here and we'll look at app, S3 job, and here's our code. Okay, cool. So let's actually now test it. Let's go back here. Go AWS S3, ls again. Here's the bucket. And it has currently the a.text. So let's create a b.text. Let's delete that and go, this is b. Okay. And then now we'll just copy it over, and then we should be able to see this. So copy b.text, b.text. So that copies the object to S3. So what that should do is should fire this as well as this. Okay. So let's go check that on CloudWatch logs now. CloudWatch logs right there. It's loading up. Hit logs. Let's check process, and then we'll check resize. So here is that's the stream right there, and this is actually already fired. And there's the event here, and here's the event, right, with the kind of message embedded here. But here's the object, which is a little more useful. There's also the event that kind of shows, I guess, this part of the message right there. So yeah, that's all the information there. Let's also check the other Lambda function, the resize one. That one fired too, and look, it has this kind of same information. So that's it. Let's just review real quickly. And let's look at the code. So here's the code. That's all it was. Is literally just one line of code that kind of sets up that SNS topic and the kind of the association of the Lambda functions with the SNS topic, as well as configures the kind of bucket for you. Okay. Hopefully, I think that's it. Hopefully you guys find this video useful. So that's how you use kind of S3 events with Jets. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really encourages more content kind of like this. If you want to watch future videos like this, just subscribe to this channel. And if you like this project Jets, I really appreciate it if you give a star on GitHub. That kind of helps spread the word. All right, thanks. You guys have a good rest of the day.